In a busy neighborhood where business thrived, two establishments stood side by side. Quickshine, a bustling car wash, and RI Tires, a reputable tire shop. For a while, an unspoken harmony existed between them. Each served its purpose, and both prospered. But peace is a fragile thing. One random day, Quickshine announced an unexpected expansion. They would now be selling tires and rebranding. What was meant to be a new revenue stream for one business became a declaration of war for the other. The owner of RI Tires was consumed by outrage. To him, this was not just competition, it was betrayal, a direct threat to his livelihood. Anger festered, violence escalated from both sides, and in the darkness of this spiraling feud, a sinister decision was made. A hitman was hired. But in the tangled web of vengeance and greed, fate is never kind. What should have been a ruthless strike against a business rival went horribly wrong. An innocent woman, a bystander caught in the storm, paid the ultimate price with her life. It was early 2019 when Quickshine announced they would begin selling tires. For most, it was just a business decision, but for Feroz Suleiman, the owner of the neighboring tire shop, it was a direct threat. And he quickly made it clear that this move was going to be a serious problem. Tensions quickly escalated. Police began receiving calls from the public, reporting heated confrontations between staff from both shops. On some days, witnesses described workers from the two businesses squaring up to each other. On others, things turned physical, with scrap metal being thrown back and forth. What started as a business rivalry was spiraling out of control, with each day bringing a new chance for conflict. In the early hours of December 4th, just after 2:30 a.m., two men carrying fuel cans approached the premises of RI Tires. Working together, they drenched old tires and a nearby vehicle with petrol before striking a flame. Within minutes, thick black smoke billowed into the night sky over Blackburn. Fire crews arrived swiftly, battling the blaze for 2 exhausting hours. But despite their efforts, the damage was severe. The tires were old, but the fire didn't stop there. Its reach spread far beyond, causing thousands of pounds in destruction. Suleiman was devastated. Of his 3 branches, it was this one, situated right next to Mr. Khan's Quickshine, that happened to be targeted. During the attack, a picture was taken of the burning tires. This didn't seem like it was personal to those who had lit the fire. It seemed like they were tasked. The connection was obvious. Suleiman didn't hesitate to point the finger at Quickshine's owner. The feud that had started with angry words and flying scrap metal had now erupted into arson. And for Suleiman, this was personal. He wasn't going to let it go. In public, Suleiman appeared to be a man focused on rebuilding, doing everything he could to get his tire shop back to normal after the fire. But behind closed doors, his thoughts were anything but about recovery. Consumed by anger, Suleiman made a deadly decision. He wanted the owner of Quickshine shot dead. And he didn't just want it done. He wanted it done in broad daylight, where he could watch from the safety of his shop as it happened. To set his plan in motion, Suleiman turned to Aya Hussein, a man with deep connections in Blackburn's underworld. Hussein knew how to make things happen. He reached out to Lewis Otway, who became the link to those willing to do the job. Otway then brought in Zamir Raja and Anthony Ennis, the men who would carry out the hit. Zamir Raja, a seasoned criminal with a disturbing history, crimes ranging from sexual assault and child abduction to aggravated robbery, was chosen as the shooter. His reputation for violence made him the ideal candidate in the eyes of those orchestrating the hit. Anthony Ennis was assigned as the driver, the one who would ensure a quick escape. Their instructions were simple: pull up outside Quickshine, shoot the owner, and drive away. Almost everything they needed for the job, money and a getaway vehicle, would be provided. To them, it was just another job. But for Suleiman, it was the final move in a deadly feud. The day of the hit arrived. Zamir Raja and Anthony Ennis were in Bolton, waiting for their ride. Transportation had been arranged. Judy Chapman and her partner, Uthman Satya, were tasked with the job. Their instructions were clear. Pick up Raja and Ennis, drive them to the murder vehicle waiting in Blackburn, and then stay nearby. Once the hit was done, they were to collect the pair and bring them straight back to Bolton. When Raja and Ennis arrived in Blackburn, they were met by Kashif Manzoor. He had been busy preparing this Toyota Avensis designated for the hit. But there was an issue. The car's battery was flat, forcing Manzoor to jump-start it. Once the vehicle was running, Manzoor handed it over. Ennis settled into the driver's seat, while Raja climbed into the back, gripping a loaded handgun. With the engine running and their roles clear, the hit was now imminent. 19-year-old Aya Hachem was walking towards Lidl, a supermarket situated just in front of both Quickshine and RI Tyres. Unaware of the danger, she continued on her path, unknowingly stepping closer to the crossfire of a deadly plan. At the same time, the Toyota Avensis approached armed and ready. Nearby, Kashif Manzoor, who had just finished preparing the vehicle, was returning with the jump lead still in hand. He knew exactly what was about to unfold. As the Toyota drew closer, Manzoor glanced directly at it, a silent acknowledgement of the imminent violence. On the other side, Suleiman stood with a clear view of Quickshine, watching intently. His focus never left the scene. He knew this was the moment he had orchestrated, and he wasn't going to miss a second of it. The Toyota rolled past Suleiman, moving slowly along the front of Quickshine. On the forecourt, Mr. Khan, the intended target, spotted Zamir Raja in the back seat, aiming a gun directly at him. Without a second thought about the danger, Khan exchanged words with Raja, a brief tense moment in the chaos. Then, Raja pulled the trigger. The first shot missed, slamming into the car wash premises, but the second bullet found an unintended target, Aya Hachem. It struck her in the shoulder, tearing through her body before finally embedding itself in a nearby telegraph pole.
It happened, basically, I saw the car, saw the gun. They went fast first, and then they came back, they shoot. They're holding the gun on me, like, when they came around, I said, what? And they start shooting on me. She was just walking around. She was walking, she was going to go somewhere, I think.
So you think that they were shooting at you initially, and then caught her instead? Responsive? Is she breathing?
No, she's not responsive. She's got a very weak pulse. We're just starting CPR. Okay. Keep going, guys. Doing well. Keep going, guys.
Keep going.
We should be here any second.
In the chaotic aftermath, bystanders rushed to help Aya, desperate to save her. Strangers tried everything they could, but there was a stark contrast on the street, at RI Tyres, where staff stood frozen, unwilling to intervene. But their inaction didn't last long. When a major murder investigation unfolded right outside their business, the staff had no choice but to cooperate. Police entered the premises, requesting the building's security footage. Forced to comply, they put on a show of willingness, nodding, appearing helpful. Yet beneath the surface, fear gripped them. They knew what those cameras had captured. Among those most shaken was Ayaz Hussein, a key figure in orchestrating the hit. As the footage played, showing the brutal moment right outside their doorstep, Hussein's panic was impossible to hide. His anxiety growing, fully aware of the damning evidence now in police hands. Meanwhile, Suleiman was already trying to distance himself. As officers began their investigation, he quietly slipped out of his shop, avoiding questions and desperately trying to stay clear of the chaos he had set in motion. Within an hour of the shooting, police located the abandoned Toyota Avensis, the murder vehicle. Panic rippled through everyone involved. What was meant to be a clean, calculated hit was now spiraling out of control. Raja, the shooter, felt the pressure. Realizing the investigation was closing in, he fled the country, escaping to Portugal. Just 3 days later, Anthony Ennis followed. Using his brother's passport, he flew out to meet Raja. The two met, shared tense conversations, and then decided to part ways, each hoping to disappear in their own direction. But 10 days after fleeing, Raja made a risky move. Driving a car he had hired with Ennis in Portugal, he returned to the UK. His attempt at slipping back unnoticed failed. As he stood at London's Euston Station, waiting to board a train to Manchester, officers moved in.
Just stay where you are, yeah? Keep your hands out, alright? I've got a taser, okay? So just stay where you are, yeah? Just stay where you are.
I've got my hands on me, yeah?
No.
Anthony Ennis attempted to avoid capture by traveling from Portugal to Spain, but his freedom was short-lived. Following an international manhunt, he was located and extradited back to the UK. Back in Blackburn, police were closing in. Massive raids swept across every property linked to Suleiman. The illusion of normalcy shattered as officers arrested him, his family members and staff, 23 people in total. The entire network involved in the plot was being dismantled. Detectives' suspicions were first sparked when they reviewed the emergency call made by Mr. Khan, Quickshine's owner. In the call, Khan mentioned that he felt the bullets were meant for him. This statement raised a critical question: who would want him dead? All signs began to point towards the neighboring business. Determined to uncover the truth, police launched a relentless investigation. They combed through 88,000 hours of CCTV footage, traced phone records, analyzed GPS data, and used advanced digital forensics. Piece by piece, the evidence painted a clear picture of a conspiracy born from a business feud turned deadly. By the end, police had everything they needed to ensure that everyone involved would face justice.
The second shooting, she get hurt and she fall down, and I jumped from the straight away. I know that it was really risky for me. I know that they came for me to kill me, so straight away I jumped over here and I ring 999. I came to this country to do my life here like Mr. Hachem family did, and I can't believe that somebody came and tried to kill me is because of the tyre.
Justice was swift and unforgiving for those involved in the deadly plot. Feroz Suleiman, the mastermind behind the plan, was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 34 years. Zamir Raja, the gunman who not only sourced and transported the firearm, but also fired the fatal shots, received life with a minimum of 34 years. Anthony Ennis, the getaway driver who steered the Toyota during the shooting, was sentenced to 33 years. Ayaz Hussein, the crucial link connecting all those involved, was handed life with a minimum of 32 years. Abu Bakr Satya, who secured the Toyota used in the shooting and later tried to buy petrol to burn it out, received life with a minimum of 28 years. Kashif Mansour, responsible for ensuring the Toyota was mechanically sound on the day of the attack, was sentenced to life with a minimum of 27 years. Uthman Satya, who helped transport the gunman and driver in the passenger seat of his girlfriend's car, received life with a minimum of 28 years. Judy Chapman, who drove and helped shuttle the killers, was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Callie Bainbridge, who provided a false alibi for the killers, was jailed for 23 months, and Lewis Otway, a key planner behind the deadly scheme, received 59 years. Aya Hachem came to the United Kingdom from Lebanon with her family, seeking a better life, a place of safety and opportunity. Bright, ambitious, and full of promise, she was a law student who dreamed of using her education to make a difference in the world. Her future was filled with possibilities, until it was stolen from her in an instant. Caught in the crossfire of a ruthless and senseless feud, Aya became an innocent victim of a crime she had no part in. Her life, defined by kindness, intelligence, and hope, was cut short by those driven by greed and vengeance.